Well, welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Automotive Drama. You might have saw my previous episode of how to do these timing chains on this Chrysler Pentastar 3.6 liter. Well, this is part two because the first video just kind of showed you where the alignment marks were. And this video is going to show you as much as I can how to actually slip the chains in, and where you know your marks are lined up, and a couple little tricks that I did to make it easier for everybody to do this. You can see right off the bat, those marks are dead on. Those marks are dead on. I can kind of show you the ones on the bottom. I don't know if I can get the camera in there. If you notice this gear, there's a big white mark there. Well, it's so hard for the camera to get in. There it is. That is the dot on this, this is just basically a rotating gear. And this lines up the drive train to the crankshaft. The marks are so hard to see. You can see I made a big white mark on the crank down there because it's so hard to see. There it is. You see that white mark? That's how I know where the crank's supposed to be. Now, I showed you how the gold plates go. The gold plates go. I could try to get the camera underneath there, and you might be able to see the gold plates. I can't hold the mirror. I use a mirror. I go down like this with a mirror. And, you know, you can see it's hard to see in the camera, but that gold plate is lined to that mark. That gold plate is lined to that mark. The mark on the top there it is. It's hard, so hard to see. The mark on the top gear there, you can see the gold gear right there in the middle. I don't know if you can see that in the mirror. Now, there's a gold gear. It's really hard to see. But I made a mark all the way across so I knew where the dot was on that. And that way I know where I'm at. Now, the key to this, I haven't even popped the tensioners yet. You notice they're still, well, this one I actually pulled to make sure that the chains was tight, but I haven't pulled any of the tensioners yet. I still have to pull the tensioners, including the drivetrain tensioner. You can see the little thing right there. And then spin it over twice and recheck my marks. Make sure the crank is where it's basically supposed to be. That gear should be facing up when the crank is got the, I made a white mark, but it's hard to see. And then these marks should all come up on the cams, and all the tools should fit in real nicely to hold them in place. Always check that. Make sure you pre-lube these chains before you start the engine. Now, this side, pull the tensioner, and this side comes off pretty easy. Pull the tensioner, this one slides out. You don't put this on all in one piece, because I mean you're going to have to do it. And you put the drive chain gear on with the crank gear all in one piece. You do that first, but then you leave that on there and don't tighten anything up. And you're able to move this gear back and forth enough to wiggle these out, and move the chains a little bit to wiggle these out. This side's not too bad. This side's a real pain in the ass. That's about all I can say. You're going to have to make sure that you get the tension on this side of the chain to make it loose. And it'll give you enough room where you can maybe move a gear, but you're going to have to kind of slide the chain out with this tensioner at the same time. Or this, actually, it's a guide, not the tensioner side. This is the tensioner guide. This is just the running guide. You kind of do that in one piece. It's kind of tricky. I can't really show you how to do it holding the camera. And then this one, as long as you have the tensioner out, you got to kind of make sure you have all the tension when you line these gears up, that all the loose tension is on the tension side of the tensioners. I know, say that 3 times fast. Because if the slop's over here, you'll never have enough room to get these in. You want to definitely make sure that you'll flip the chain and you'll see which way it goes, and it'll line up on all the marks, and you'll have all the slop on this side. Then you got to kind of slip that in and then tighten the tensioners. I mean, I already pulled that one. To detract these, you just take a pry bar and be gentle and push on the chain and push it all the way in, and then you stick that back in the hole And bam, that goes that one. This one I haven't pulled because I kind of wanted to show you how it works. This one I'm going to pull now. Bam, did you see it grab? And this one I'm going to pull. I waited to pull them. And you'll see the chain tensions tighten up. Bam, did you see it move? And make sure you get all these tight. Now I'm going to remove all my cam tools. And a little tight. It should come right. See how easily all of them came apart? And then I got to spin it over twice. And a little trick to doing that. Let's take the crank bolt that holds the balancer on. And I got to show you how to get the balancer out of this thing. You're going to have to drop the radiator down and move it forward like 3-4 inches to get in here. As you see, I kind of got it strapped and I just kind of got it bracketed up just so it holds in place, but I got it strapped back where I need it. You put this on, and then you're able to spin the crankshaft. Now, you can spin it clockwise 2 times. And then recheck all your marks. Just check these first. Spin these 2 times. Bring the cams back up to where they're supposed to be. Put your tools in. And then you go down and then you have to check those 2 gears. The drive chain gears that drives the pivot. And then that's kind of really simple. Now as far as the oil pump goes, I left the cover off. It's still over there. So I can kind of show you. Where's the gear? If you're looking at this and you get confused, this side goes towards the engine block. Come on, camera. This side bolts on. And there's a keyway. And this spins freely. So it's really easy to put that chain on. Then you just take this little spring right here and you bend it over your thumb and you can just slip that right on. And make sure that this thing ain't sticking out like this. And it gets all the way in there. Even, you know, you might even push the spring back a little bit. Not too bad. Without the tools, it'd be a real bitch. But with the tools, it's still kind of tricky, but it's, you know, kind of doable. It took me a good hour to take all the chains off and reset everything, make sure that everything was set, and get it all back together. But that is what it is. At least I know it's right. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. And like always, likes are nice, subscribes are better. Questions, comments, feel free. You can take that thumb and work the muscle, hit the like, subscribe, and ring the bell button. And you can watch more of these crazy videos and all these crazy cars I do. But, yeah, I wish I could just work on garbage motors cars, but I get Mopar cars. My old pig ain't running, as you see. I get all cars, but I don't know. It seems like the domestics, get more work from the domestics than I do any European or Japanese car. But they all break. So anyways, thanks for tuning in again, and have a good night, my friends.